thing is like you will now if you start you will face little bit of difficulty. Okay, but once you do the same thing for 10 days, 15 days, or 1 month, maybe it will take maximum 1 month, then you will be very like good. Okay, in that aspect also you will have to write some sample email template. If someone reaches out to you, what should I reply to him, how should I send him his resume, everything. It takes time. Okay, so I just want you people to have these small things going now from now only. Okay, so so just create. Okay, if you face difficulty you can just let me know. If you face difficulty in anything like while creation of LinkedIn profile or Naukri profile, if you face any difficulty, you can always reach out to me. Okay, but the thing is like I have tried to share most of the details from my end. Okay, then also if you face difficulty, so you can let me know. Okay, so we'll start topics for today. Actually, our subscription got expired, and I have upgraded it to pay-as-you-go subscription. So from now onwards, so whatever resources we'll be creating, or for whatever resources that we will be there on Azure, will be charged for that. Okay, so I just want you people to do the labs and delete the resources. Okay, I will try to get another free tier subscription because free tier is good for practice and everything. Okay. So, yeah, it's fine for now. Okay. So, is my screen visible?
Yes, Anand.
Okay.
Sir.
Yeah. So, we discussed about, we were discussing about Microsoft Entra ID. Okay. So, there are few topics which are still left. And the thing is, like, I just want you people to go deeper into Microsoft Entra ID. Okay, that's why I'm trying to cover all the aspects of Microsoft Entra ID. Okay, because the thing is like now there will be more openings for Microsoft Entra ID and Azure Monitor. Okay, with you, the experience which you people carry now, you will get jobs mostly into either Microsoft Entra ID or as a Azure monitoring engineer. Okay, for your experience these two are the roles. Okay, and once you have 5 year or 6 year something like that now, then you will be going into some different role like Azure network engineer or Azure a proper Azure administrator. Okay, so yeah, that's why I try to cover most of the things. Okay, we have covered. Okay, I think there are few more things left. Okay, so we'll try to cover most of the things today, and one thing will be left, I know, so we'll try to cover that tomorrow and we'll complete this, then we'll move into our storage topic. So one thing is conditional access policies. Okay, we'll have that in our as this directory page also, but it will be somewhere hidden somewhere. Okay, so it's better to search that. Yeah, Microsoft Intra conditional access. Okay, so what is this Microsoft Intra conditional access? Here also the same thing is coming out. Okay, okay. The thing is the conditional access policy is okay. We'll try to first go into paint and see. Yeah. So suppose if you have we have created a user account for a user on Microsoft Entra ID. Okay, let's take an example of Anil today. Okay, we have created his account, Anil's account on Microsoft Entra ID, Azure AD. Okay, so now since Anil's account is created on this Entra ID, so he can log in into the Azure portal. Okay, he can log in, and if he has access, correct subscription access, so he will be able to create resources, also manage the Entra ID also based on his access, based on the access provided to him. But
Sir, recording.
yeah, I have started today. I have started actually as soon. Okay, so yeah, so he is given the access from the Microsoft Entra ID. Now he will be able to log in into the Azure portal. Okay, but the thing is, the organization will be trying to the organization will be trying to create some policies, okay, so that there is no risky sign in. Okay, so they will create some conditional, that policy is different, and this conditional access policy is different. Okay, policy is for managing Azure resources, okay, but conditional access policy is for managing sign in into Azure portal. Okay, if you have to manage sign-ins, if there are some risky sign-ins, and that risky sign-ins you want to avoid, for that we are creating some conditional access policies. Okay, so never get confused, both are completely different. That is used to manage our risk. Yeah, tell me.
Can you repeat once again, sir?
Yeah. So policy is for controlling the resources, like which type of resources we can create, what are the sizes of resource that we want to allow. Okay. So that is completely different, and conditional access policy is just for managing our sign-ins. Okay. Whether we want Anil to sign into the Azure portal or not. Okay, so this is just for managing the sign-ins. Okay, managing the sign in, and where we are sign in to Azure portal. Okay, to Azure portal. So what are the types of policy that we can create? We can create policies based on location. Okay, based on location, when I say location means, suppose if Anil is from India region, then only he can sign into Azure. Sign in to Azure. Okay, we can create some IP ranges also. We can give some IP ranges also, although we haven't discussed about IP yet. But IP is a address of your computer over the internet. Okay, for now just remember, IP is the address of your computer on the internet. Okay, so we can basically configure some policies, like if your computer's address ranges between 192.168.1.0 to 192.168.1.20, then only you will be allowed to log in. Okay, so we can configure some IP ranges, or IP ranges means address of our computers, and if this condition satisfies, if the IP ranges that we are providing into the conditional access, if that range is getting satisfied, then only the user will be allowed to sign in into the Azure portal. Okay.
Sir, can you repeat again, sir?
Yes. So basically, in conditional access policy, we are controlling the sign in of the user. And on what basis we can control the sign in for the users? We can control based on the location, based on the IP ranges, okay, or based on the device type. Okay, so how do we control? Based on if we say based on the location, so mostly what organization will do is, suppose a user is from India, okay, he's entitled to work from India location only. Okay, his posting is in Hyderabad or Bangalore or somewhere, so he will be mostly residing in India only. So what organization will do is to avoid any risky sign-ins. Okay, sometime what may happen is he kept his username and password somewhere and his data got hacked. Okay, over the internet. So someone is trying to log in from USA. Okay, so if there is no conditional access policy in picture, so his data or someone might intrude into his Azure portal. Okay, so that is what the issue is. So to control any risky sign-ins, what Azure or what AWS or any cloud provider is offering to us is we can configure some conditional access policy, and if the user who is trying to sign in into the Azure portal is meeting this condition, the condition which we are designing based on location, IP ranges, and device type, if they are meeting this condition, then only they will be allowed to log in. Okay, so these are basically done for risky sign-ins. Okay, to avoid any risky sign-ins. So we can configure something like Anil is from India region. If Anil is from India region, then only he can sign into Azure. If his computer address, okay, so Azure will have each and every detail. Like when you are onboarded into your organization, so your administrator, okay, like when you will become administrator, so you will have the details like what is the IP of this user, so we will assign that IP only to that user. If he is trying to log in from other IP, okay, so organization's data also may get compromised. No, suppose you have given him the Azure portal access, and if someone is like really uh, like not so good guy, you can say, okay, if he's taking some data from your organization and if he's sharing the data from competitor to the competitor, so Azure or your organization should have some policy so that he cannot log in into from his personal laptop. Okay, so they will define some address, IP range. If he is not using that IP address, or if he is not using that computer, he won't be able to log in. Okay, so device is that only. If his device is suppose Windows 11, or if some organization is using MacBook, okay, so that depends on organization to organization. If he is logging from these devices, and if these devices are, if these devices are Azure AD joined. Okay, we will see what is Azure AD joined also in some time. Okay, if this device is Azure AD joined, then only he'll be allowed to log in. Okay, so these are few of the conditions that we can set to avoid any risky sign-ins to our Azure portal. Okay, or you can say we can prohibit any risky user to sign into our Azure portal. Okay, so how do we create policies like this? Okay, see, now only it is giving us this warning, but I will tell you. Okay, it is not a very big topic also. The thing is like, you need to come to this page, conditional access page. Okay, and I will tell you most of the things. Okay, if we are not able to implement this, but I will tell you most of the things. Okay, so if suppose if you want to go for location, you need to manage your policy based on your location. So what you will do, you will click on this named location page. Okay, okay, it is grayed out. The problem is this only. Okay, okay. I think I will have to take that P1 or P2 license. Then only we'll be able to do this. But for now, at least, yeah, you need to come over here, conditional access, conditional access, and then where you need to go? You need to go to the manage tab. Okay, and then from here you can see we have so many options. Okay, we have named locations. So from here you just have to follow two steps. You need to click on the country's location. Okay, and then there will be a pop-up appearing, and in that pop-up you need to select the location. Okay, which location you want this policy to be created for. Okay, so you will select India location, and then the same thing will be displayed over here. If you want to configure based on IP ranges. So what we will have to do, we will click on the IP ranges location and we will provide the IP ranges. Okay, like 192 IP ranges will be like that. Okay, multi-factor authentication trusted IPs. Okay, if someone is suppose doing the multi-factor authentication, so each and every computer will have a IP address. Okay, so if you want to check the IP address, go to Windows R CMD, type IP config. You will get the public IP and private IP, everything. And that day I told you, for everything apart from RDP we will be using private IP. Okay, so if you want to control the Microsoft authenticated authentication trusted IPs. Okay, suppose you are logging into your system, so your computer will have some private IP address. Okay, so what you can provide is, if he is doing his multi-factor authentication using that private IP address, then only his Microsoft authenticator should allow his login. Okay, if he is doing from some other system, okay, some other private IP address, his login will be denied. Okay, so this is how we do. Okay, and we have other things also. Yeah, but the thing is, one more thing, one or two more thing I would like to tell you. You need to create policies based on countries, location, IP ranges, and these things. Again, where you need to come? Again, you need to come over policies, and then you need to create a policy. Okay, it is clearly mentioning Microsoft Entra ID Premium. Okay, so we'll see. I will try to get this one also. I haven't got the time yet, but yeah, it's fine. Okay, so I will try to get this and then we'll do this. Okay, we can connect on some weekends and whatever are our leftovers now for labs because of this Intra ID premium. Just let me know and we'll do that. All the things. Okay. And yeah, policy from here, it is very simple lab, not a big thing also. Okay, you will just create a new policy and just you need to specify all the things like based on the location and which user, everything you will mention. There will be a form appearing. Okay, in Azure everything is simpler only. You will have to just fill in the form. It will ask you the details and you need to fill in the details and your policy will be created. Okay, here terms of use also you can create. Terms of use is if someone is suppose blocked, his access is blocked due to some location constraint. Previously he is from India and his access is only given for India location. Suppose he went to US for some holidays. Okay, so now he is not able to log in. Okay, so what will that user do? If he has to do some work on Azure portal, he will call out to you people, administrators or Azure engineers, that I am not able to log in. Okay, so what will happen? It will the user will face difficulty. He will have to call the help desk or Azure engineers. Okay, so what we can do is now we can create a terms of use. In terms of use, what we are basically doing is, if suppose any user is not able to log in because of some location constraint, so that will be displayed on his login failure screen. Okay, so we can design that as well in terms of use. Terms of use is basically done for the reason behind his authentication failure. If he is denied the access from Azure, so he should get some idea why my access is getting denied. Okay, so over here you can design that. It is like we will just, it is text only, you will just copy paste the text. Okay, and that same details will be displayed over his page. Okay, sign in page. So from here you can do this. But the thing is, one more thing I just want you people to know, although you will create this policy and everything will be fine, but your policy will not be implemented until and unless you change the default policy. Okay, when you have an Azure account, there will be already a default policy in picture. Okay, so first thing is you need to disable your default policy, then only you can create your own policy based on your organization. Okay, so in interviews they might ask you. Okay, so you need to let them know, okay, that there will be already a default policy in picture. Okay, when we are creating our Microsoft Entra ID account. Okay, but if we want, if our organization want to implement his own policy based on location, IP ranges, multi-factor authentication, device type, and everything, so we will have to firstly disable the default policy. So how do we disable the default policy? We will go to our default directory or our directory and we will go to properties. Okay, and from here we can disable that. Yeah, you need to come to manage security defaults. See, your organization is protected by security defaults. Okay, first, security default is protecting your organization, but if you want to create your own, you need to disable this security. Right? It is mentioning disabled, not recommended. Okay, currently it is in. If you close this and if you click on this again, yeah, enable. Yeah, see, your organization is currently using security defaults. Okay, if you want to disable this, what you will do, you will click on disabled and you need to specify also reason for disabling. Okay, so you need to specify my organization is planning to use conditional access. Okay, so it is giving you warning also, you do not have any is already P1 or P2 license. Okay, so it is giving you warning also. So see, but in your organization, obviously you will have all these things. Okay, we are doing labs, so if we purchase P1 license, it will be costing us rupees not rupees $6 per user. Okay, so it is very costly. Okay, so 600 plus, yeah, 600 rupees per month. It will be costing us per user. Okay, so it is like costly only. Okay, so you need to specify this. My organization is planning to use conditional access and you need to just save it. Okay, and then this default policy will not be there and then you can create your own policy. Okay, just remember this step for now. Okay, is it fine everyone? This
Yes, sir.
okay. So you can come to properties and you can see. You people just need to go to each and every option and just hover over the different options that Azure is providing and just see the technical contact is this. Okay, privacy statement. So I can specify these things. Okay, access management for Azure. So since I have created the Azure account with this ID, so I can manage all subscription and management group in this tenant. Okay, okay. So now let's come to one more topic, and that is really very important. Okay. There are two things.
Sir,
Yeah.
like you told about location and IP ranges, na sir. Like how to attach a policy for a device level.
How to attach policies for device. Okay, we can go to conditional access. Okay, let's see Microsoft Entra ID, conditional access. There will be authentication strengths, sign in logs, classic policies, terms of VPN connectivity. VPN connectivity also you can use. Okay. Mm, I think it will be here only in policies only now. While creation of new policy, you will get that option. Okay. So
Okay.
it doesn't have a separate tab like a name location or custom control. Okay. So while creation of policy, you will get that option. So based on the device, if you want to configure, so you can configure from here. You need to click on new
Okay, sir.
policy. Okay. So yeah, this is one thing. So in interview, they won't ask you to show how to create a policy. They will ask you simply what is conditional access policy, what is the use of conditional access policy, what is the default security policy, and from where we go to that default security policy. Okay, and how do we create a conditional access policy? So you need to mention the steps. Okay, and what are the different types on which basis we are creating conditional access policy. Okay, so these things you need to specify. Okay, so the next topic for today is we'll try to cover this enterprise applications and app registrations. Okay, so can someone let me know, like we have discussed single sign on so many times, like we when we started our Microsoft Entra ID, so we told the benefit of the micro, one of the major benefit. Okay, when I say major, it is like SSO is like uh it is, you can say, saving so much of engineers. Okay, when I say like organizations previously used to hire so many engineers for administrating different applications. Okay, now with the introduction of single sign-on feature, we just need Azure engineers who are good or who are who can do this SSO configurations. Instead of hiring engineers from different teams, okay, ServiceNow team, Salesforce team, and different teams. Now we just have engineers from Azure, and they should be good in configuring this SSO single sign-on features for different applications. Okay, so we'll see this. Let's see how many minutes are left. Okay, okay. So let's see. Okay, let me open Notepad once. Okay, so single sign-on. Okay, so in organizations, what happen is, if suppose if you are having applications in organization, obviously there will be different applications that will be used. Okay, there will be applications like workday. Okay, workday, what is the use of workday? Workday will be used to manage all your attendance, all your leaves and everything. Okay, so similarly you will have some applications like ServiceNow. Why organizations use ServiceNow? ServiceNow is basically used for managing the tickets. Okay, if someone is from different team and if he has to get some help from Azure engineers, AWS engineers, or from service techs only, so he will have to raise a ticket. So where he will raise the ticket? He will raise the ticket in ServiceNow. Similarly, there will be Outlook for mail purpose, mm, there will be Teams. Okay, so organization will use different applications. Okay, so previously what used to happen is, suppose someone has to log in into Workday, so Workday will have its own URL. Okay, Workday will be having its own URL. Suppose I'm just giving an example of Virat. Okay, if someone wants to log in, if Virat wants to log in into Workday, so his URL will be something like Virat at the rate Workday, and if his organization name is cognizant.com. Okay, and Virat will also be having, if he has to log in into his laptop, okay, he will be getting some ID. His ID will be created on Azure, and he'll be getting some ID like Virat at the rate cognizant.com. Okay, and if he has to log in into his Azure portal, so what will be the URL for that? The same URL, Virat at the rate cognizant.com. For these two, he'll get URLs like this. Okay, but if he has to log in into Workday, because Workday is not managed by our own organization, Workday is an external application. Okay, so what if suppose you have to log in into Workday, so your account should be created into Workday, then only you can log in into the Workday. Suppose if you are trying to log in into IRCTC website, so for that, what you people need to do? You people need to firstly create an account on Workday, because that is an external application. Okay. Similarly, if the organizations want to give access of the Workday application to its user, so what they will have to do is they will have to create the user accounts of all the users there. If there are 1,000 users, okay, so organizations, what they will have to do for those 1,000 users, organizations will have to create user accounts. Okay, suppose there are 50 applications, but